Good evening. On behalf of the commissioners and staff, I'd like to welcome you to the August 28th, 2025 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. Please put all electronic devices on silent at this time. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table. And if you plan to speak at tonight's meeting, please complete a blue speaker card and return it to a staff member. As a reminder, Planning Commission meetings are broadcast live, replayed on Comcast 14, and available on the city's YouTube channel. I will now call the meeting to order. Lupe, may I please have a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Hagler.
Here.
Commissioner Jensen.
Here.
Commissioner Pryor.
Here.
Commissioner Unidad. Here. Vice Chair Brashears is absent. Excused. Chair Hagenjus.
Here. And I've asked Commissioner Pryor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lupe, please begin staff introductions.
Yes, Chair Hagenjus, good evening, and Commissioners Lupe Nelson, Recording Secretary.
Good evening, Commission. Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Chair Hagen-Jost and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Hagen-Jost and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Commission. Lauren Hawker, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Commission. Mark Stout, City Engineer.
The public comment period is a time for anyone who'd like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda. When addressing the Commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comment to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I will close the public comment period. Next, we have the consent calendar, which consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion as recommended in the staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, Planning Commission, or staff. Tonight's consent calendar consists of one item, Item 5.1, minutes from the August 14th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. Is there anyone on the commission or in the audience who would like to pull an item off the consent calendar for separate discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pryor has made the motion and Commissioner Unidad has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Unidad.
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor.
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler.
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yes.
And Chair Hagenjus.
Yes, the motion is approved. Next on the agenda is our section of requests and presentations. Before we begin, I will review the meeting procedures. First of all, we will hear the staff presentation. Then I will take questions from the commission. Then I will open up the public hearing. The applicant will make a presentation. Then I will open the public comment and the public will have an opportunity to speak. Then I will close public comment. If needed, the applicant will be given the opportunity to provide a rebuttal, and then I will close the public hearing. The commission may ask questions of staff, and finally, the commission will consider the item and make a decision based on the information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. Item 6.1 is a request to approve a major project permit Stage 1 and Stage 2 and a tentative subdivision map for 5,000 Baseline Road. For the record, it is file PL 25-0246. Derek, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, certainly. Thank you. Good evening, Chair Hagen-Jost and Commissioners. I'll be presenting the Baseline Marketplace for you this evening as Sean Morales couldn't be here tonight. He was the planner who worked on this project. Next slide, please.
There we go.
One more. There we go. So the project before you this evening is a large format commercial development, which was originally anticipated on the northwest corner of Baseline and Fitiment Road in the 2010 Sierra Vista specific plan. You'll see in this slide in the upper left-hand corner was the original concept plan from the Sierra Vista plan. The Baseline Marketplace project, Stage 1 and Stage 2, was approved in 2014 for background. Over the next 9 years, the project was put on hold by landowners while the entitlements were kept alive with extension requests until 2023, when Costco was approved on a portion of the development. That project is currently under construction, along with roadway and utility improvements that are necessary to serve the entire site. The current request is for a major project permit Stage 1 and Stage 2 modification and a new tentative subdivision map for the remainder of the project to facilitate development of the rest of the marketplace. There are several changes proposed with the current project. With this application, the largest of those changes would be the build-out of approximately 560,000 square feet, which is 185,000 square feet less than the total that was approved in 2014. This change is due largely to the Costco project, which removed a number of the larger footprint retailers next to the Costco. There are 3 parcels which remain in that area which could accommodate additional building area with a future project. The current project will modify the approved site plan by altering the size and configuration of several building footprints. The site will retain most of the character of the original approvals, such as the 2 large format retail buildings, which are just east of Upland Drive there. And that is the purpose of tonight's application. The northern portion of the site will be connected to the southern portion by the pedestrian spines that connect the anchor buildings to the smaller outlying buildings to the south. There are 2 other notable changes to the site plan that include the increase of drive-through restaurant locations from 4 that were originally approved to 7, and you can see those by the stars indicated in the current slide. The number of gas stations will be reduced from 3 to 2, including the Costco fueling station, which was already previously approved. Additional modifications to the site include related requirements for stormwater treatment, as well as organic bins for restaurant tenants. Here in this next slide, you can see the original in 2013, the project included a set of design guidelines, and this was in order to create a cohesive theme for the entire center. The design guidelines were intended to streamline review of multiple types of buildings, including anchor tenants, junior anchors, pad buildings, and drive-through restaurants. The guidelines also included requirements for building architectural, materials, and design. Landscaping, planting, lighting, outdoor plaza areas, monument signs, and other amenities are also described in the design guidelines. In this slide, you can see examples of the modern architecture that's proposed, as well as color schemes and materials that complement that style. Staff feels the design updates that were made are consistent with the original approvals and provide a high level of architectural design and materials. And back up just one slide. The color palette down on the right is just one example. I think there are 3 different color palettes that are approved, so this is just for reference. Okay, next slide. Several tenants have been identified for the center, including Home Depot, Target, and Raising Cane's. These project elevations will be approved with the design guidelines, and the projects can move forward to building and civil plan review if approved by the Planning Commission this evening. These buildings provide cohesive modern forms, as we just saw, similar to the pad buildings, and materials will be consistent, such as stacked stone on all the buildings. The design also recognizes the need for individual brands for each tenant, so you have kind of color schemes and things that match those brands. On this next slide, we have the tentative subdivision map. You can see that the property will be divided into 22 separate commercial lots, which correspond with the building and parking locations, and the tentative map will also help facilitate future development of the project. Early notification of the project was posted on the Arcona website. And the public hearing notice was mailed to all property owners within 300 feet, as well as published in the Press Tribune and also posted to Arcona's website. One comment was received in response to the notice, which was forwarded to the Planning Commission yesterday via email. In addition, an addendum to the Sierra Vista Specific Plan, EIR, was prepared to cover the minor changes and additions to the project. The addendum did not identify any new environmental impacts with the proposed changes. So in conclusion, staff is recommending you take the actions listed on the slide here in the recommendation section. I would note that we did add 2 additional conditions which are provided for you before the meeting on the purple paper there. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioners, are there any questions for staff at this time?
I have one quick question. You mentioned, Derek, that the square footage overall of the site has been reduced by 180,000 square feet. We did get the comment letter discussing about additional drive-through restaurants. So even with those additional drive-through restaurants, we're lower than what was originally planned on that site.
Yeah, that's correct. So our engineering division, and Mark can probably talk a little bit more about this, but we did look at that traffic zone, and there were less trips than were originally programmed into that traffic zone.
Okay, and this, I put Mark on the spot here a little bit. The email that we got spoke about vehicle miles traveled for fast food restaurants versus destination type restaurants.
Yeah.
My assumption is that the vehicle miles traveled for destination restaurants would probably be longer than they are for fast food, but thought I'd ask the question.
True, but also we didn't need to evaluate it because there wasn't a rezone on this property. And when we implemented our VMT policy with the last general plan update, all the existing parcels were grandfathered into VMT. So unless somebody comes in with a rezone to change the use, they've already met the VMT requirement. So since this project, even though they may have changed the type of businesses going in within that same land use, it didn't trigger VMT, so we didn't need to evaluate it at all.
Good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions at this point? Okay, I will now open the public hearing. I'd like to invite the project representative for this item to address the commission.
Hi, I'm Don Webb with Covenant Real Estate Group. We're the new project owner of this project and excited to get this project moving actually after over a decade of hard work. I'm mainly here just to answer any questions that possibly could come up. Like I say, we're very excited about the project. Should create over 1,000 new jobs, and probably the estimates on revenue for this center is near $500 million a year. So should be a good tax basis for the city as well. So, and we know the neighborhood is excited to have it because there's not a lot of businesses in that area. So. On one second thing, I'd like to also thank the staff. They've been great to work with multiple cities, and they are top-notch and have been extremely helpful through the whole process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, are there any questions for the project representative at this time? Please.
Sorry, I don't have my voice right now, but quick question regarding timeline. If approved, when do you expect to finish construction?
Well, if approved tonight, we plan to hopefully break ground in May on grading, and the big boxes should be able to start construction in July of next year. So the first businesses hopefully could open, probably, to be honest, the first part of 27.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a quick question on the number of fueling stations. What was the reason for reducing the number of fueling stations?
Well, with Costco's 48 pumps or whatever they have, we didn't really feel there was going to be a need for more than just one station. And the need for the draw for food use and stuff actually replaced that, because that seems to be the biggest need that people want. And the increase in drive-throughs is really just ever since COVID, drive-through restaurants have been, everybody's looking for that because it seems to be what people want.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to come forward and address the commission on this item? Seeing none, I will now close the public comment period. Commissioners, are there any additional questions or comments at this point? I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the major project permit Stage 1 modification subject to 5 conditions of approval, and adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the major project permit Stage 2 modification subject to 5 conditions of approval, and adopt the 3 findings of fact and approve the tentative subdivision maps subject to 61 conditions of approval. And
just to
with the changes that we were included at the beginning of the meeting.
I'll second.
Commissioner Jensen has made the motion, and Commissioner Pryor has seconded the motion. A roll call, please.
Commissioner Hegler?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Unidad?
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor?
Yes.
And Chair Hagan-Jost.
Yes. The motion is approved. There is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Item 6.2 is a request to consider and recommend City Council approve the ordinance amendment to Title 19 of the Roseville Municipal Code and review and comment on the ordinance amendment to Title 18 of the Roseville Municipal Code. Lauren, may we have your presentation?
With pleasure. So, good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Lauren Hawker, Senior Planner, and I'm here to present to you some minor amendments regarding tolling provisions. So first of all, what is tolling? So tolling is when you pause a statute of limitations if certain conditions are met, and there are many tolling provisions in existing state law. Especially these days related to housing development projects. And the most common reason for these provisions is in response to lawsuits. So what a tolling provision does is it pauses the expiration of a project approval in these cases until a lawsuit is resolved. And that just gives time for due process to be completed, because what can happen is a lawsuit can take multiple years to resolve. So say a project is approved, a lawsuit is filed. The applicant is not in a position to build that project until due process has completed on that lawsuit, which means they may need to file for an extension because their entitlements are at risk of expiration, or they expire and then they have to file for a new entitlement for the same project. And then those can also be the subject of a lawsuit, which can put them in sort of an endless loop. So we are proposing the amendments that are included on your screen here, which would just pause the clock on the expiration of approved entitlements if a lawsuit is filed, and then the clock on the running of the statute on that entitlement would resume once due process is complete and the lawsuit is resolved. This protects applicants from, sort of an unreasonable expiration of their entitlements during a time period when they cannot build the project. So in terms of public outreach, we did post a hearing notice on the Arcona website, and we published a notice in the Sacramento Bee, actually, 20 days prior to this public hearing. And of course, these are policy and procedure-making decisions tonight. They aren't impacts on the environment, things that result in a physical environmental impact, so these are exempt from CEQA. And then our final recommendations for you, you will notice the language is a little bit different for each of these, and that is because the zoning ordinance identifies you, the commission, as having reviewing authority and recommending authority to the council regarding changes to the zoning ordinance, but not for the subdivision ordinance. So the first recommendation is that you recommend approval of the ordinance amendments to City Council, but that you review and comment on the ordinance amendments to Title 18, which is our subdivision ordinance. And if you had any comments, we will of course, take those forward to City Council. And that is my very brief presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have at this time.
Commissioners, are there questions for staff at this time? I actually have one for Mr. Speaker there. I just want to make sure the City Attorney's Office has reviewed all of this and it all looks good.
I appreciate you asking, and yes, we have. So we've been very involved. We work obviously very closely with planning and help craft the language on that, which is very similar to existing language that exists in state law. But thank you very much for asking.
And I just have something very quickly. So on the tolling agreement, it makes perfect common sense to me. It seems like the right thing to do. But the applicants can still continue to process their plans through the city, even though those lawsuits are going on and everything, so they can keep advancing it so that once that period of the lawsuit's over, they're ready to go ahead and move, and they're not stopped while they're going through that process?
That's correct. Hypothetically, an applicant can have their permits all ready to be issued. In some instances, Lifetime Fitness is an example of this. They actually had a CEQA lawsuit that was settled, and they opened for business 3 months later. So they really took a risk and completed that entire facility as they were getting closer to completion. So yeah, absolutely, progress can be made. It doesn't stop the permitting or even potentially construction. It's just completely at the applicant's risk.
Thank you.
Anything else? I will now open the public hearing and public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to come forward and address the commission on this item? Seeing no one, I will now close the public comment period. Commissioners, are there any additional questions or for the? Okay. I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we consider the two findings of fact and recommend City Council approve the ordinance amendment to Title 19 of the Roseville Municipal Code and review and comment on the ordinance amendment to Title 18 of the Roseville Municipal Code.
I second.
Commissioner Pryor has made the motion and Commissioner Unidad has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Unidad?
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler?
Yes.
And Chair Hagen-Joes.
Yes. The motion is approved. Next on the agenda is the Commissioner and staff report. Are there any reports from staff?
I have a couple quick items tonight. So we will not be having a meeting on September 11th, but we do have several items that are scheduled for September 25th. And on that note, I announced last meeting that there was going to be some construction activity here in the council chambers. They're going to be doing an expansion. That has, since the last time we've met, it's been bumped a month. So we will still be meeting in the council chambers on September 25th. When we get into October, the earliest meeting that we might have to meet across the street at 116 Grant would be the October 23rd meeting date. So they're going to be closing this room roughly around October 20th to October 22nd for construction activities, and so we'll be meeting across the street. So you'll be getting lots of emails from me with information on that as we get closer to that time, especially since it's changed within the last 2 weeks. Who knows what will happen in the next 2 weeks. And that's all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commission? Then may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Hagler has made the motion and Commissioner Pryor has seconded the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Mr. Bueno.